All right, welcome again. Once again, my name is Abdel Rahim Jabate, aka the Jabate Ba. So I was just making some quick to those of you guys that follow me on my Facebook page. This is the new spot of what I'm gonna be most of the time, especially after the Ramadan. I'm gonna be making content here all the time, a variety of things, like so many things that I have to talk about, and most of the time will be helping ourselves because I feel like we are in a time box where we it's hard for us to discover some things around us. So we're gonna be have to create awareness all the time. And what better place to start if it's for myself? So I was just making a video, short videos about my country, right? Because I'm from Liberia, so that's where I am from. That's where my parents are from. That's where I know that I'm from, and which happened to be in Africa. And but just by looking at me, you know exactly I'm from Africa. So the many of you guys that don't know, Liberia is this little country in West Africa, and it was founded a couple of years back in the 18th century when Liberia was nowhere, it was not a country, it was just there, people had kings and traditional leaders. So when the free slave here was free to go back to Liberia, what happened was that, they settled in Sierra Leone free time. But because of the condition that was there, it was not okay. So they switched to Liberia, and then at them there was a king there called King Saboso Kamara. He helped to kind of give them place and shelter. But the people believe in buying things. So, as a king, okay, you bought a piece of land and it was given to them, and then they settled over there, and they used to call it then the Gold Coast. I mean, you can go on Google and read about those things. I always tell people information nowadays is open to everybody. It's an open source. You can't say, I don't have it. It's an open source. Everybody have it. So if I say something that is wrong, that's on me. That does not mean there's not a facts over there. There are evidence that can tell, So long story short, this man was also the man that gave this land to them, was also a Madinga man. So, which having to be for my traps. But the reason why I'm bringing out this video is like, if you guys been following the history of Liberia, we know that a couple of, let me say decades ago, 2, 3, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there was a tough time in Liberia. They went through the civil war, and then things was very, very chaotic, and people were struggling with a lot of things, man. But everything is getting back to normal. But as you all know, whenever there's crisis, it takes time to get fully well, the way it's supposed to be. So that capacity, it take a little time to get to that point. So as we speak right now, is gradually getting there, but it need time. So what I'm trying to say is this. So now when the crisis took over, I know every time something happened, there's always changes that take place. So certain part of Liberia, those that left, and then because for certain tribe in Liberia, it's easier for them to move from place to place, which is the Madinga tribe. So when the civil crisis came, some of them found themselves in Guinea, Liberia, and Mali, and because of the historicity of the Madinga tribe, they are in every part of those places. So they were able to relocate to fit in, not 100%, because when you move from your place to another place, it's not easy to just fit in. But they were able to fit in based on the fact that the language is speak. So many of their kinsmen was not able. They were struggling. Things were very tough for them. So some of them had the kind of like envy, and they say, okay, matter of fact, if this man can go to the next country and live there with no fear, he lived there, he's just blending in, for that reason, he's not even from here, he's from that place, you know what I mean? So this the reason this did happen, and those people that came back before, because they couldn't fit in Ezra, and the language it speaks was different, and then there was a crisis between tribes in Liberia. So most of them have to come back because they lie, some of them control those areas. So when they came back, they took people land and property and started building on those places. All right. What happened is that after beating them, when things come to normal, they refuse to give the people land back to them. They say, "Oh, you guys are not from here." Matter of fact, we were out there. We saw you guys, living like you are from over there. Matter of fact, the people that we struggle to speak our language, but you guys didn't have a struggle because the land was for you guys. Y'all were chilling over there. Thing was going on fine. You know, hey, that does not mean you can't give my property back. So it been in discussion for a very long time now. They haven't been able to give their land back to them. So they struggle with that. So what happened was that the past president, tried to settle it through going into those places and speaking to people, but for the fact that these people have built on those places, so there was a process to say, listen, let us reimburse those people back their money so they can be able to go and relocate themselves. And this process did not even go well again. So now what is happening is that is growing every single day until it's intensifying to the extent that people are trying to hurt each other. Just recent day, there was a brother that he plays God. He was in a fight with somebody that feel like the land is for him, and because of Africa, Africa, whosoever that pays more money, you control the system. So he was able to go do some underground work and come to the brother side and broke his place down and took everything away. So you see what happened? Now the people become homeless, and then when they start talking about it, they become angry, which of course I don't agree to that pattern. You should always follow the ways and move forward. And then what happened? Boom, the people get into custody, and now as we speak, most of them are into custody because they reacted, from as being a victim of what happened. So, and then there are people out there speaking their mind, saying that trap, the reason why people don't like them is because they don't build in those places. They build in some places. Everybody have their money. You have the right to build whatever you want to build. You have the right to live wherever you want to live. If you go somewhere, you hustle. If I come to America right now and make my money, if I want to buy a house over here, that's up to me. If I want to go buy a house in Ghana, that's up to me. I know Liberians, I know people, different tribes. They are not from Burkina Faso. They are not from Rwanda. They have built house in Rwanda. They're not even from they're not even from East Africa. They have built houses in places over there. But people are using those those words just as a key to kind of hold on to and make people feel like, oh, this is the reason why I'm building it. So at the end of the day, people are throwing in back and forth war with one another, and which of course this just lead to another chaos in the country. Like I said, we saw this in Syria when this whole Syria war that gave birth to ISIS, it came out of just for a little kid, So we know how it could intensify, and we don't want those things to intensify. So this is a video that I'm making. I was just making a couple of videos on Facebook about this same incident. So this is what is going on in Liberia right now, and as a result, the country is slowly going into chaos. And we all know Liberia, how Liberia have been struggling for the past, let's say since the 80s, man. We've been struggling with leadership when the door came to power. It's a long story. I'm going to have to make a step-by-step video about how this whole thing started and who and why and the reason why, again, people are getting offended, especially those people that are the victim. Because if you keep crying over and over and nobody is hearing you, and you decide to take law into your hands, some of the time, people don't see what happened to you. They see what are you doing. So at the end of the day, they just want to see you doing the wrong thing, and who's know what's gonna happen next. So there's not much to say. Once again, this is my channel. Like I said, I'm gonna be dropping content here almost every single day. Right after the Ramadan, I'm gonna make sure I come here, I drop content. It's not gonna be long. It's gonna be 5, 10, 15 minutes, and boom, we're gone. So once again, share the love, share the page, and definitely this is the new place you're going to find me all the time. I'm going to come and do what I have to do. So once again, thank you very much, and ciao, ciao. And don't forget to subscribe to my page. This is the page. This is the place you want to be, man, okay? All right, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the little details that I just gave you guys about Liberia. So once again, if this is your first time, kind of following, I'm gonna be giving detail maybe about some of these African countries, man, because most of the time we hear those stories from different people that just go on Google and Google whatever it is and kind of take those stories and just explain. But we should be able to explain our own stories because